This is Riot Radio News.
Good afternoon, it's 1 o'clock. From the DC News Desk, I'm Megan Tomasoni. Here's what's making news this hour. Donald Trump will return as the 47th President of the United States. He got the 270 votes he needed to win, and he is also the first person to win 2 non-consecutive presidential elections since the 1800s. The victory was secured when Trump took over Wisconsin for the second time and got over 270 electoral votes to win the presidency. As the results are coming to an end, Kamala Harris is expected to communicate with her supporters and the nation by the end of the day. Justin Trudeau joins world leaders to congratulate Donald Trump on winning the United States presidential election. Trudeau has also released a statement stating what Canada and the United States achieved during Trump's first time as president. Trudeau also voiced that he is looking forward to working with Trump, Vice President Vance, their administration, and leaders to build and improve together. A man in Whitby is accused of striking a police officer while being arrested. The event occurred at a gas station, and police were called when the victim was spotted breaking into someone's car. He is being accused of hitting a police officer and grabbing their baton while intoxicated. Taylor Swift is wrapping up her American tour, and Canadian fans have patiently waited for 6 shows in Toronto and 3 shows in Vancouver. Toronto has new formal street signs for Taylor Swift Way, which is an honorary route that connects Nathan Phillips Square to the Rogers Centre, and the icon is ready to bring the Eras Tour to Toronto. Now moving on to sports. Last night, the Toronto Maple Leafs hosted the Boston Bruins, winning 4-0. Despite being without Leafs captain Matthews, the Leafs managed to shut out the Bruins. Next matchup is Friday at Scotiabank against the Detroit Red Wings. In basketball, there are no games last night due to the election. However, the Raptors have traveled to California and are getting set for a matchup against the Kings tonight. In local sports, the Oshawa Generals traveled north for a matchup against their rivals, the Peterborough Petes. With the game going the distance, Oshawa snuck out the win, winning 4-3 in a shootout. And now, here's the forecast. Today, it's cloudy with a slight drizzle with a high of 19 and a low of 8. Tonight, it will be mainly cloudy with a low of 9. Tomorrow, it will be clearing with a high of 13 and a low of 1. On Friday, it will be sunny with a high of 11 and a low of 0. Then on Saturday, there will be a mix of sun and cloud with a high of 8 and a low of 4. Right now, it's 18 degrees. I'm Megan Tomasoni, and this is DC News.
Welcome to DC Broadcasting. I'm your host, Michael Bennett.
And I'm Olivia Flanagan.
And this is our first episode.
So I don't know about you, but I have been tagged in so many Taylor Swift ticket giveaways. I see TikToks every day about people still trying to get tickets for one of her 6 nights in Toronto. Have you seen any of this stuff online yet?
Yeah, there's definitely a big buzz around the hype with Taylor Swift coming to Toronto. Just going into Toronto, you can definitely feel the buzz with it being, about a little over a week away. Believe it or not, the OHL has been chiming in as well, doing a giveaway. I don't know of any other giveaways personally. Do you know about what's going on with the giveaways too?
I know Rogers did a big one where they gave away like 20 packages, bracelets, merch, and tickets for the concert. A few days ago, Ticketmaster actually opened a few tickets for some fans that already received the pre-sale code.
Really?
But then some people couldn't get on, and then people were upset that they couldn't get them. So a lot's happening around there.
Yeah, I remember speaking with somebody who I'm close with, and they were talking about how they had the opportunity to get a chance to win Taylor Swift tickets or get their hands on Taylor Swift tickets. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a scam. So there's something that I want to say is obviously be careful with what you're looking into. There are a lot of people who are looking to do it the wrong way. We ask that you do it the right way, visiting Ticketmaster or StubHub, or essentially going through the artificial and real giveaways, such as the OHL official, Rogers. So
Avion is also giving away a lot too, and I know people, they had a little scam going on with them too, and then people got fake tickets, so they weren't happy either.
Absolutely. So during our roundtable, we'll kind of dive into the question, is the hype around Taylor Swift's Toronto maybe a little bit too much?
But before we get to the American pop star, we all know how the American election played out within the last 24 hours.
And I can guarantee you there's going to be some mixed opinions on this, but we can't say too much. However, we'll talk more about it at the roundtable. Coming up after the break, Ganesh Udashankar joins us to talk about how Donald Trump won the election.
From the Durham Lords to hanging out in the pit. Welcome to Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
Welcome back. We are joined with Ganesh Udashankar, our reporter, to give us his report on everything about the election. Ganesh?
Thank you, Olivia. So, Donald Trump has made a comeback in what's being touted as the resurrection in U.S. political history. He has won the 2024 elections. While Kamala Harris had a great campaign, it was not enough to swing the votes in her favor. Early on, pre-election polls predicted that it would be a tight race. It would be a 50-50, and it could go either way. And, to win the 270 electoral votes off the 538 to be declared the president, people predicted that it could be Kamala or Biden. Kamala or Trump. Sorry for that. But Trump had an early lead. Within the first 30 minutes, he had 101 to 71 against Kamala, and sadly, she could never close the gap. So, initially, in the early vote swing states is where we thought Kamala could, win the votes, and it was kind of true in Pennsylvania because key states such as Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, Georgia, and Arizona is what Biden had won, and the prediction was that she could win those swing states. But as the counts came in, unfortunately, she lost, and Trump took the swing states by storm, and it flipped it back in his favor, and that was decisive in his victory. Now, as we speak, the counts are in for the battleground states. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Wisconsin have declared their results, and Trump has won. In fact, even I believe that Wisconsin has, let me confirm that. I think it is, state of Michigan has also come with its votes, with Trump winning 50 to 48. So there are only two states, that is Nevada and Arizona, that are pending, with Trump currently leading 52 to 47 in Nevada and 51 to 46 in Arizona. So 277 to 224 is the count, and despite the remaining votes, it's inevitable that Trump is going to be sworn in as president on January 20th, 2025.
Thank you, Ganesh. So you kind of talked about swing states. Can you kind of talk a bit about what a swing state is and how in the election back in 2020, how Biden was able to take the swing states, but in this election, Trump was able to take them? So
Biden kind of won the swing states by convincing the voters, especially Hispanic, Black male voters, to vote in his favor. And that's how we won the swing states. But this time, since Kamala was, contesting against Trump at the last minute, and the campaign kind of did not go too much in her favor, and Trump was able to take back those swing states. And swing states are basically where the election can flip either way.
Okay, cool, Ganesh. Great question, Olivia. So obviously, being a Canadian network here, this impacts the world, worldwide, right? So how will this election impact our country moving forward?
Well, tariffs are where Canadians can get affected, because imports to U.S. from Canada is where taxes and tariffs are likely to increase, and that would discourage people from using Canadian products in the U.S. And that's where Canadian economy is likely to get affected in terms of businessmen.
For sure.
seeing a lot of trouble with sending their products to the U.S.
Yeah.
So, as you said, no matter where these swing states go, Trump is going to be the next president of the United States. What do you think his win means for the future of the Republican Party?
Okay, it's too early to tell because there's still the count going on for the Senate and for the House. But in these places, if Senate wins with Republicans take the Senate with more than a 60% majority, then every bill that they pass at the House and gets voted in the Senate, if they have a 60% filibuster, they are likely to pass extreme bills that may not be great for the for the American people, and that's where the Republican Party may have an advantage, but it's too early to tell.
So, and in Canada, there's no such thing as a celebrity endorsement, but in America, obviously, it's totally different with a lot of famous people endorsing the presidential candidates. Kind of, do you want to explain how that helps their campaign here quickly?
Well, celebrity endorsements, kind of convince the followers of those celebrities to, vote for who the celebrities try to endorse and try to favor, and that can change the vote.
For sure.
drastically.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Ganesh. After the break, our roundtable will dive into the question, is Taylor Swift's hype in Toronto too much?
From the Durham Lords to hanging out in the pit, welcome to Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Olivia Flanagan, with Michael Bennett, and today we are joined with Megan Tomasone, our news anchor, and our reporter, Ganesh Udashankar.
So as you may or may not be aware, Taylor Swift had just concluded her American Eras tour, stopping in Indianapolis. Now she is set to make her way to Toronto, Ontario, for performing 6 concerts ranging from November 14th to November 21st. Guys, what are your thoughts on this and how do you feel?
I think it's great. I really wish I could go. I'm on the wait list still, but I'm not sure I'll get in.
So being obviously I don't think any of us are going. I'm not going. You're not going.
No.
Nobody's going. But from an outside standpoint, looking in, from a fan perspective, an entertainment perspective, an economic standpoint, what are your thoughts, Ganesh? What do you think about this for the economy in Canada here?
Well, 282 million is what they're predicting that the tour is going to bring in for the province of Ontario alone.
Absolutely.
And that is massive. But we still need to look at how it's going to, is there a cost benefit ratio for this, and how it's going to, is it going to get worse because of, just that time where you see a hike in the economy and then it's just going to slump again. Mm-hmm. Is that going to affect the economy in another way? So we still need to see, but at the short term, it is great. And yes, I think she's also here for the Buffalo game with Travis Kelce. Right?
Yeah, that is right. So when I was looking into it, I kind of tied the NFL, as many know, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And she doesn't perform on a Sunday, given that the Chiefs do play in Buffalo at Highmark Stadium. A little weird there, but hey, whatever. We support that love. Olivia, what are your thoughts, like from an entertainment, a fan standpoint? Just like, what does this mean to the country, the city of Toronto, and like that buzz around the city?
Well, I think it's great for her. She's performing 6 nights at Scotiabank Arena, which how many fans does the arena hold?
I think 75,000, if I'm not
So,
mistaken. It's definitely a lot
quick
bigger
math
than
there.
Scotiabank Arena.
Yeah, 75,000. I don't even know that times 6 nights.
Yep. Well, it
Like
holds like
100,000 fans, right?
Exactly, right? And obviously all the people in the floor seats and stuff like that, people are going to be cheering their hearts out, and people from all over the world. Like, I remember reading an article on Twitter or a little tweet, and somebody was trying to get a hotel in Toronto, and literally nothing close to Blue Jays Way, or what's the street name known as now?
The street is now known as Taylor Swift Way, as the city of Toronto changed it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mayor, is it Chow? Chow, she kind of revealed that sign just to make Taylor Swift feel welcome here, especially for 6 nights. That's got to be pretty cool.
I actually heard that there was like 22 different street signs
22?
Yeah, 22 different ones they changed.
And that has a significance behind Taylor Swift herself, right?
She has her
Yeah.
22 song.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a Swiftie. I don't, you know.
I won't sing it for you.
Is that a permanent change, or how is it?
No,
or
it's
is
just
it
temporary.
Temporary for the 6 days. Wait,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So that's got to be pretty cool. Just what she's done, kind of being a pop sensation alone. Like, I remember, do you guys last year at some point during the success of her major album, she had like Spotify actually did like a little Easter egg within their application exclusively for Taylor Swift. And if you watched on the little dial of the song or the soundtrack, it was a little star indicating like her album cover. I thought that was pretty cool. And she's handled all of this extremely well. She pays her whole team and the truck drivers that travel with her extremely well for keeping up and showing up and putting on this amazing show. It's not just Taylor behind this, right? There's so many people. But if I'm not mistaken, Rogers themselves have actually decided to invest solely $8 million into their carrier service within Rogers Center to make sure and ensure that fans, businesses, Media Pass users all have the best service possible to push out amazing content of this one-of-a-kind sensation Taylor Swift. That's got to be pretty cool.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Mind you, Rogers service is hit or miss in certain places, but I mean, you know, we're not here to talk about that. I think that's really cool itself.
It's just like crazy the impact that she has on like everyone. Like, even if you're not going to her concert, you know that she's coming, and if you're taking the GO trains any nights during those 6 nights, you might want to stay clear of Union Station.
Exactly. I mean, there's always something going on. Traffic's being monitored. Like, actually, the Waterloo Warriors and University of Toronto were set to play, and they just have to reschedule and come back a different day. Anyways, thanks for tuning in and talking with us about Taylor Swift and her impact on Toronto and the world. We hope you had fun.
I'm your host, Olivia Flanagan.
Again, I'm your host, Michael Bennett, joined by...
I'm Ganesh.
I'm Megan Tomasoni.
And we'll see you next time.
This is Riot Radio News.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock from the DC News Desk. I'm Alexander Muri. Here's what's making the news this hour. Well, that's not a red mirage, you see. History has been made for the United States as they vote the first ever convicted felon in office. Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States, despite all the celebrity endorsements that Kamala Harris had. Some of the celebrities like Taylor Swift, Beyonce, and many others. Our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau congratulated Donald Trump on his re-election. Trudeau expressed his readiness to work with Trump and to create opportunities and secure for both nations. Trudeau highlighted the strong ties between Canada and the U.S., emphasizing the shared interests and mutual benefits. Trump victory could lead to an economical instabilization due to the potential tariffs and Brush decisions. Trump's policies may be debilitating to the global stages, including the relationship with Canada. Aquatic programs in the community is the highest priority, as evidence, community outreach, and responsibilities. The South Curtis area, designed for future explorations, making a cost-effective to add ice pads rather than construction. Council approves recommendations to acquire equipment and the South Bowmanville Recreation Center planned for ice trails and air support. There's a high demand for ice times from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m., but the significant availability for morning and late evening. The possibility for building a new ice facility in the future is addressed using group needs. Taylor Swift fans, get ready. She's coming to Ontario, and the city of Toronto is doing something special. Metrolinx and the extra trains are going to be accommodating for Taylor Swift fans for the Eras concert. The extra services will provide on November 14th to the 16th and November 21st to the 23rd. In sports, the Maple Leafs will win the Boston Bruins 4-0. They had no goals in the first period, 2 goals in the second, and 2 goals in the third period. The Raptors will play Sacramento tonight, 10 p.m. And now, here's the forecast. Today, high will be with 19 with some clouds. Tonight, with low of 19, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, mostly sunny with a high of 13. Friday will be high sunny. Saturday will be mix of sun and clouds, high of 10. Right now, it's 17 degrees. I'm Alexander Muri, and this is DC News.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alyssa Brush.
And I'm Sayed Rizvi.
And welcome to Riot Radio. We are students here at Durham College, and we're in the broadcasting program for radio and contemporary media. So did you stay up and watch the election?
Yeah, Alyssa, did you watch the elections last night? They were very unpredictable at the very end.
I know. I'm not too into politics myself, so I saw it when I first woke up this morning on social media when I was scrolling through Instagram. But yeah, I wasn't watching it last night. Were you?
I love TikTok, so while I was wake up late, I was still checking updates throughout the night off and on TikTok.
Okay, well, that's good.
And in case you didn't know, there is lots going on with our neighbors, United States, especially they have re-elected, I would say, Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States.
Wow. And this is the first time in over 100 years a president has been reelected after losing. Also, the first time a president has been reelected after being impeached 3 times.
Yeah, don't you see this? It's very interesting in American political history. As we speak, we are remaking the history again. As Grover Cleveland, he was the first president to be reelected after losing, just like Trump. And that goes all the way back to 1893.
Oh, wow. Like I said, yeah, I don't know too much about politics, but I think it's crazy that a convicted criminal is allowed to run for president and win.
Yeah, American politics are very unique, very interesting, and very unpredictable. Never in American history has this unpredictability happened, and the way the elections headed in this direction.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Well, coming up after the break, Ajax plans to expand its water supply plant.
And later on this show, we will be talking more about American elections. We'll be right back.
From the Durham Lords to hanging out in the pit. Welcome to Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
Welcome back to Right Radio. I'm Sayed Rizvi.
Welcome back to Right Radio. I'm Alyssa Brush.
Joining us today at the round table would be...
There has been talk about Ajax Waterfront expanding its water supply plant in 2023. We have Jillian Goode to tell us more.
Thank you, Alyssa. So the Durham region is working on expanding the water supply plant in Ajax. They say that they want to provide quality drinking water for cities and towns within the region as it continues to grow in population. This was announced in a media release that it is conducting a class environmental assessment addendum, which was started on October 24th. This includes being able to expand the existing facility and lessen the risk for both the environment and the community. During the project, the region will need community support through any questions or suggestions that will help them. The construction is expected to start by 2031.
Thank you very much for that, Jillian. With such a big construction going on, I'm sure lots of questions will be risen. So our first question is, how will it affect the Durham region's overall water supply?
Well, right now, from what I've seen on their report from April this year, they are actually modifying their hardwood pumping station, which is like one of the supplies that we have for drinking water. Well, from this, like, it will affect in a sense that the region is finding more resources for us to get more water, because like they're seeing a demand and growth in population in the cities, especially like for Ajax is in our city as well, in Oshawa, and also its surrounding cities and towns.
So, Jillian, whenever there is construction or expansion, money is involved.
Yes.
So how much a cost do you think amount of money would be needed for this expansion, and how will they raise all this money?
Well, it says on their report from April this year, it is like they are like seeking approval for the Ajax water like expansion and hardwood pumping station improvements, in which is like the assignment for Ajax is at over 17 million, which can be funded from the approved 2024 water supply system capital budget. Meanwhile, they will also be allotting for over 4 million for the hardwood pumping station, which they are currently working on.
Okay, thank you very much, Jillian.
With this being such an important project, why is there such a delay in the start?
Well, I would say that there is a delay because they are still making improvements on the current pumping sources they have, or rather like water supply plants. They're still like working on improvements on how they're able to provide quality drinking water, especially like for the for residents around like cities and towns. But right now, given that they are looking into the assessments of anticipating the growth of population, they are looking into like the finance, like they're looking into the how it will impact like in terms of environmental, social, financial. So from what I'm seeing with all like the report and as well what I've gathered, they will still be seeking more funds since right now they're still conducting on how they'll be able to improve, develop, and as well find alternatives that will not cause any risk for both the communities and as well the people.
Thank you very much, Jillian. We'll be looking forward to hearing more updates on this project as the plans progress.
Yes, and our last question that we have for you is, we are located near the largest freshwater Great Lakes in the world, so How can water conservation help the Durham region?
Well, water conservation is that right now that the water resource is actually taken from Lake Ontario, and of course, like it's undergoing a process to remove unnecessary substances. And I think like these Great Lakes, like people would actually come there, and like people can like do their part by not littering. That's like one of like the simple things that they can do in order to like make a greater impact to help, because like in the future like we might be looking at the scarce of like resources, especially like, with climate change as well.
Thank you very much for that. After the break, we will be discussing more about the American election. We'll be right back.
From the Durham Lords to hanging out in the pit, welcome to Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
Welcome back to Riot Radio. I am Syed Rizvi.
Welcome back to Riot Radio. I'm Melissa Brush, and joined with me is Alexander Muhi, Jillian Koo, and Syed Rizvi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank
Hi,
you
guys.
very much. It's good to see you guys here.
Nice to see you.
So our topic of discussion is going to be the U.S. election.
Oh, boy.
God.
I know. I knew I was getting at
Not
that.
the way to start the day.
Yes, it's actually Jillian's birthday today, so happy birthday,
Yes.
Jillian.
Happy birthday, Jillian.
Thank you.
Definitely not your birthday wish.
Nope, not at all.
You can tell we're all on the same side here.
Yes,
Possibly.
very blue. Very
So
blue.
since it is your birthday, were you really predicting Trump to be the next president?
No, not at all. But like based on what I've seen on the live stream last night, I'm just seeing a lot of red, and I was like, oh no, this is not what I wanted to happen. But looks like because of like the votes that's happening in every state in the U.S., it's like there's like a chance that he was gonna win, even though like there's like a part of me like, no, I don't want him to win, because we've seen like what he had done rather during the time that he was seated, like during like when he took presidency, like around 2020.
I am gonna manifest though, because he has 100 days until his inauguration. So I'm kind of manifesting that he'll maybe slip up for those first 100 days, and then
So you manifest, and when you blow out your candles, you know what to wish for.
I'm gonna be blowing candles last night, so fingers crossed.
I know, yeah. It's all very interesting.
Yeah, American politics are always very interesting, and you never know which side Americans would lean till the end result comes.
to the very end, yeah.
This one was definitely one of the most unpredictable elections, I'd say. I feel like there was a lot of people on the edge of their seats for this election. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I was talking about the red mirage. That's actually a known fact, that where actually it looks like the red side is gonna have more votes, and then it actually does a kind of backflip. And it happened on when it was Biden versus Trump.
Right. At the very beginning, I really thought Kamala might win because the way people have viewed Democrats and Republicans in the past. But when it all started turning red, for a second I thought, oh my God, now it's out of control and he will definitely come back.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You were talking about it in your news report earlier. Do you have anything to add about that?
Yeah, I just honestly, a lot of Americans thought they were gonna, because I thought that, because of, Taylor Swift fans, Swifties, Beyonce fans, Katy Perry, I thought I was gonna go for,
I remember that.
right?
Yeah.
It was crazy, and just did a whole 360, and
Right. And speaking of Taylor Swift,
Yeah.
she's coming to Toronto.
He's coming to Toronto.
Oh yes, definitely. Oh God.
Are you
I
excited
rem-
about it, you guys?
Well, apparently, like I wasn't able to get tickets, unfortunately, and I just like bought a lot of bracelets like for that one, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm not a Swiftie. I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited that she's coming to
Yeah.
Canada. I'm not a fan. Neither have I ever seen her concert or met her. But I would love to go to downtown.
I'm
and
on the
see.
waiting list.
Well, first, how much are tickets though?
Oh God. I've seen the tickets are like 2,000.
Wow, my goodness.
Who has that kind of money?
Not me.
Definitely not me.
That's like my
People in
tuition.
Toronto.
That's like my tuition.
No, literally. Yeah.
And somebody was telling me the hotel prices in downtown. They might be selling a room for even $10,000, and people would be willing to pay for it
Yeah.
a night. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I feel like they definitely take advantage of people who are really wanting to see the people that they like because they
Right.
know that they'll pay the money for it, like
Yeah.
you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you think about it too, because like some people, like as soon as they already get the tickets, like they already have the hotel. But like since like some people have seen like, oh, it's the last minute, I'm getting the tickets. So that would also cost as well. Like they're gonna get like we're gonna pay more for like the hotels as
right.
well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's seen like, oh, it's a sign. Like
And
there's one
some-
ticket.
sometimes people buy tickets and sell them on black market for 5-10 times more. So this is the time people really make money.
Just be careful of Facebook Marketplace. That's
Exactly.
all I'm gonna say.
Oh no, not
Careful
the
of
marketplace.
scams.
Yes.
Yep, that's another thing that people can use to make money. And then Jillian, you were also talking about earlier about the water plant supply.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all the time that we have for today. Well, thank you very much, Jillian and Alexander, for joining us today.
No problem.
Thank you.
I am Alyssa Brush,
And I'm Sayed Rizvi. Thank you all for joining.
and we'll see you next time.
This is Riot Radio News.
Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock from the DC News Desk. I'm Vardhan Arora. Here's what's making news this hour. Donald Trump is expected to win the U.S. presidential election with over 277 electoral voters, with Wisconsin pushing him over the line. He beat Kamala Harris, making history as the first person to serve non-consecutive terms. The Republicans are back in control with the Senate, but it's still unclear who's control the White House. Trump has promising big changes in the economy, including higher tariffs and new foreign policy news. Durham region is gearing up, expanding the Ajax water supply plant on the waterfront to meet the area's growing water needs. They have started environmental assessment to explore the best option for upgrading the plant, which treats Lake Ontario water for the local use. This project will look at ways expand and renovate the facility while keeping minimum impact on community and environment. In 2025, there will be a public open house to give the updates on the project if all goes as planned. The design should be finished by 2028, with the construction starting in 2031. Ontario Premier Doug Ford congratulated Donald Trump on his expected win for another term as U.S. president, saying he's excited to strengthen ties with the U.S. Ford emphasized the importance of trade minerals for EVs and nuclear energy. Now is the time for the bet on the U.S.-Ontario relationship. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also congratulated the Trump, calling Canada-U.S. friendship as the envy of the world. Police in Gulf and Brantford are investing in a rise in large-scale butter thefts from the grocery stores, with the suspect reporting reselling it on the black market. Since last December, thousands of dollars in butter have been stolen, with the Brantford store alone losing $1,200 in recent incident. Business like Kitchener, the cake box, which uses 80 pounds of butter weekly, they say that thefts drive up already high butter prices. Store owners are now facing tough choices to protect their supply. In sports, this past Monday, the Toronto Raptors faced the Denver Nuggets in a thrilling game, with the Raptors losing a close game of 119. They are set to play the Sacramento Kings tonight at 10 p.m. tonight. In NHL action, the Leafs won last night, beating the Boston Bruins by 4-0. And now, here is the forecast. Today, expect mainly cloudy with west winds at 20 kilometers per hour and a high of 19 degrees. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow, mainly sunny with the winds at 20 kilometers per hour and a high of 13 degrees. Friday will be a sunny, reaching a high of 11 degrees. On Saturday, look for a mix of sun and cloud with a high around 8 degrees. Right now it is 18 degrees. I am Vardhan Arora, and this is DC News.
Hi, welcome to Riot Radio. We're your host. I'm Max Hutchison.
And I'm Hannah Gibbons.
Today is Wednesday, November 5th, and you may have heard there was a pretty big vote happening in the States. Hannah, did you keep up with the presidential election at all last night?
I did. I tried to keep up as best I could. It was a very stressful time, and it was a bit confusing, I think, for a lot of people because, it changed so fast, so vastly, and it was a lot to keep up with. And I know a lot of people felt that way, including me. Right. Were you keeping up with it? I felt that way as well. It was definitely stressful to watch. I had the news on, and every time it was announcing who won the electoral votes for the state, it was like, oh gosh, here we go. But overall, I don't know. It didn't go the way I was hoping it would. But it's definitely going to be an interesting 4 years watching the states and see how they go under Trump's presidency now. Trudeau has congratulated Trump on Twitter, and he referred to Canada and U.S. as the envy of the world. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna work together again, Trump and Trudeau, and what they're gonna do for the country. And Doug Ford also did congratulate him as well, and he's hoping for a better relationship between Ontario and the States as well. So that could be interesting for us and see how that turns out. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, what the ties are like between Canada and the U.S. and between Ontario and the U.S., considering that they both, congratulated Trump and they seem to have sort of a close relationship. Yeah, it seems like they did. I wouldn't say they wanted him to win, but, Doug Ford did seem a little excited about Trump's win. So with the states electing a new leader, how exactly does it look for us Canadians? Keep listening to find out. With a different American is making her way to Toronto soon, fans are trying to do anything they can to score last-minute tickets.
And how much would you be willing to spend to see Taylor Swift? We just advise you be careful while on the hunt. More on what that could mean later.
Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
So we've been talking about the presidential election last night in the States, and it's been a little bit difficult to keep up with all the details, especially because it's all been happening and happening so fast. So to give us some more insight, we have reporter Anthony Grostanis here with us. Thanks for joining us, Anthony.
Of course, thank you guys for having me. Before I get into it, I actually just wanted to ask you guys, what your thoughts are on the election so far and what you guys think so far.
It's definitely, like we've been saying, just like a little stressful because we don't know exactly how it's going to go. And, I wouldn't say I wanted Trump to win, but he did win. So I guess we're just going to have to see how that goes.
Yeah, it's been very stressful. I'm not exactly the happiest with the results currently, but it's just been really stressful to watch. It's been confusing, like we said. It can be a bit hard to keep up with.
Yeah, totally. You guys are not the only ones that feel that way. I've been keeping up with it pretty tightly, and you guys have the same feelings as most people have. With Donald Trump winning, he had about 71 million votes for him, and Kamala Harris had about 66 million votes for her. There were only about 5 states that were like swinging states, where Maine was swinging for Kamala Harris, and we have Alaska, Nevada, Arizona, and Michigan that were swinging for Donald Trump. Donald Trump won with about 277 votes, while Kamala Harris had about 224 votes. This is the first time Donald Trump has had the popular vote and the most support he's actually got since running for president.
Yeah, it's definitely surprising that he got the popular vote this year, considering like all that I see about him online. But I guess like people just aren't as vocal with their support for Trump as they are compared to like Kamala. But so you did say it's the first time he's ever won the popular vote, which is interesting. But how do you think the results of the U.S. election are going to affect us as Canadians?
That's a great question. Totally, the outcome of the U.S. election holds significant implications for us in Canada, affecting trade, economics, and environmental policies due to the close ties between the two nations. U.S. is Canada's largest trading partner, with about $3.3 billion in trade crossing the border daily. If a candidate, like Donald Trump, wins, implement broad tariffs on foreign goods, Canadian exports could face increased costs and market access challenges. The U.S. election can influence economic trends that affect Canada directly as well, such as inflation and interest rates. Trump has historically prioritized oil production, which could impact shared energy products and policies. Many Canadian companies operate in the U.S., as we all know, or rely on American imports. Potential tax or regulatory shifts under the administration would impact Canadian firms' cost structures. Canadian businesses may need to adapt to protect profits, such as implementing currency hedging strategies or revisiting their U.S. market presence. Canada's economy is highly sensitive to U.S. political shifts. The 2024 election could bring about adjustments in trade agreements, energy policies, and cross-border regulations as well, making this election especially relevant for Canada.
Thank you for informing us. I'm not heavy into politics, especially U.S. politics. I see it more as like an entertainment kind of thing, watching like a reality show. But it does seem like it could get serious for us Canadians. So like, thank you for letting us know that this stuff's gonna happen.
Any questions you guys have for me?
What are the odds of the unconfirmed states? Because I know you mentioned there were 5 unconfirmed states. What are the odds of them pulling through and voting for Kamala?
Very unlikely. Maine is the only one that was swinging for Kamala Harris. The rest of them, like I said, Nevada, Alaska, and Michigan as well, they were all swinging for Donald Trump. So it looks like, unfortunately, Donald Trump will be winning the election as it's been stated. But it was those states really tried. Maine pulled through for Kamala Harris, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough for her.
Yeah, definitely the way I wasn't expecting it to go. Just like in the weeks leading up to the election, it definitely like seemed like it could be going to Kamala, but after last night, it just seemed like Trump overtook everything, you know.
Yeah, we had big, superstars as well pulling for Kamala Harris. LeBron James as well, a huge superstar in sports and just in general. So many people thought that Kamala Harris was going to win, but Donald Trump somehow
Trump's endorsements like weren't very good. It was just Elon Musk, and like nobody really likes that guy,
100%.
But if you guys are just looking to shake off some of this election stress, we'll be talking about the Eras Tour coming to Toronto after the break.
From the Durham Lords to hanging out in the pit, welcome to Campus Connection, the radio show about Durham College produced by DC Broadcasting.
Welcome back to Riot Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Max Hutchison, and joining me for the roundtable today is my co-host, Hannah Gibbons, reporter Anthony Grosdanis, and news anchor Vardan Aroa. So, a week from tomorrow, Taylor Swift will finally be making her return to Toronto, and she will be performing a total of 6 shows over a 2-week period, and fans are super excited as they've been waiting for this for a very long time. So we're just going to start off by asking, are we fans of Taylor Swift here?
I know I'm a fan of Taylor Swift.
Okay.
I unfortunately didn't get tickets,
It's a
but
shame.
yeah, it was a race for the tickets, and very expensive as well, unfortunately. So, but I know I am a fan. What about you guys?
Honestly,
I'm not a huge Swiftie, but I do enjoy listening to music from time to time. But I wasn't planning to go on a tour because her tickets are outrageously expensive.
Very expensive.
So yeah, that was out of the question for me.
honestly, I don't know about too much about the Taylor Swift. Who is she? Like, what she's very famous for?
So she's like one of the biggest artists in the world right now. She does a lot of pop music, but she's been around for quite some time. So she's experimented with a lot of genres. So she's got a lot of fans from a lot of different communities and areas, and like people are going to be flying in from all over the world to see this concert. And Taylor Swift coming to Toronto is expected to bring in over 280 million to like an economic boost, which is a huge number and a huge amount of money. And what are your guys' thoughts on that?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I think it's going to be great for the city. I think it'd be really expensive for the city as well. I think it's really cool that you touched on that because in about a year and a half, the World Cup is coming to North America, as many people know. So I think that having the World Cup coming to Toronto as well is going to be a big economic boost as well. So I think this is a good way to kind of prepare and to kind of see how it's going to affect the city. Public transit, hotels, places where to get food. I think this is a great way to kind of like
test the
waters a little bit and see how it's going to affect us as a city, and kind of prepare us for when the World Cup comes here, because we all know that how big the World Cup is and how many people all over the world are going to come here to Canada and watch the World Cup.
And what kind of song she's creating? Like she's singing like.
Oh, she's big on country and pop.
Yeah.
I don't know,
she jumps from genre to genre.
Yeah, it's the Eras Tour, so she's performing it all. She's
performing all of her albums. She's got a bunch of country music in her early days and a bunch of pop music.
Okay.
As you were saying, Hannah, I know you had a hard time getting tickets, as many fans do. I know my best friend made me sign up for a bunch of contests and wanted me to get her tickets, but I unfortunately had no luck, and they were very expensive. So the average ticket is reselling for over $2,000, and the highest price tickets are going for over $6,000, which is an insane amount of money.
That's insane.
That's-
You know, just for a concert, which is ridiculous. I know she's a huge pop star, and you know, pretty much almost everyone around the world knows about her. But you know, you have to really convince me to spend $2,000 to go see a concert for one night. Plus, you know, accommodations like food, drinks, and all of that. It really does add up.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you guys think you could ever justify spending that much money on a concert?
I don't know. I would really have to be like wanting to see this artist for years and years, and like that would take a lot of saving as well. It's a huge commitment, dropping $2,000 on something.
It's definitely not easy.
And
Yeah.
from where can I buy the tickets of her shows? Like,
So-
there are lots of scams are in the.
Yeah, a lot of scamming going on. They've
Yeah.
been completely sold out on Ticketmaster. I know they've been doing like limited drops every once in a while for those verified fans that want to get last minute tickets, but even those are crazy expensive. So fans have been searching other ways to get tickets, like third-party
Well, from the
websites,
Facebook
Facebook
maybe?
Marketplace,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's a lot of scams going around, and people have been losing a lot of money just trying to see their favorite artist. So it just sucks that people who think they're getting a good experience and like wanting to share this moment with Taylor Swift are just being scammed out of their money, and it's just a horrible thing that's happening.
You gotta be safe out there. Be careful. Make sure that you're doing your research before buying tickets as well. But I think people who are gonna go are very excited. So it's exciting for the city as well that she's coming to
Very
to
exciting.
Toronto. You know, changing Blue Jays' way to the Taylor Swift way as well, which is you know, a big change as well and exciting.
Yeah, that's a very exciting change.
100%.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Signing off, I'm Max Hutchison.
I'm Anthony Grosdanis.
I'm Vardhan Aurora.
And I'm Hannah Gibbons.
Have a great day, everyone.